Well, it ended up being a pretty good season. We knew last fall that we had a lot of holes to fill, and especially on the pitching side of it, and obviously offensively. And what I really enjoyed about the season is that we got better. We just kept getting better. Lost a lot of close games early. Road trip to California didn't go well. Lost 2 or 3 one-run games out there, and but we battled back. In conference play, the second half, I thought we played extremely well. We started winning games. We started hitting a lot better. Some of the freshmen, I think, really relaxed and started learning the league a little bit and how to handle it and handle the pressure. A lot of expectation when you're at Arkansas, especially as a young player. Didn't want to let us down, let the coaches down, the fans down. And finally we just said, hey, just work, get better, and it'll start paying off, and kind of had our backs against the wall. And, they fought their way out and won a lot of games down the stretch. And, if you'd asked me in the fall if I thought we could win 40 games, I probably would have told you yes, but I might not have been telling you the truth, to be honest with you. It was we knew it was going to be a fight. So I was proud of this team, and I think a lot of the young guys got a lot of experience. We've got some good kids coming in, got some kids signed that we haven't even announced over the last couple of months, and just see if we can get through the draft this weekend.
How do you feel about pitching generally going into next year? Who you might lose?
Yeah, I mean, that's, to me, the pitching. I'm a little worried about pitching next year. We've got 4 or 5 kids signed, but our top 2 young kids are, one of them's ranked in the top 100, and the other one's ranked in the top 200, and another one's just out of it, a third one. We really need to keep one of those big-time arms. One's right-handed, one's left-handed, of the first 2. Guys coming back. It'll be interesting to see if we can keep Jacob Stone, to maybe be our closer next year. I think he'd really like to play here another year. That's what I got. I met with all the possible returning kids yesterday, and he definitely came up there. And a lot of the kids that are draft eligible, they don't meet with me. We just kind of thank them for their work and wish them best of luck. But he wants to come back unless he gets X amount of dollars. I don't know if he'll get it. I hope he comes back. Obviously we will have Killian back, and Jackson and Taccolini and Teague and some of these guys that did real well. I think that Michael Gunn will probably end up signing. There's a couple of teams that really like him. Beeks will sign. Fisher will sign. Oliver will sign. Anderson will sign. I feel like we're going to get Spoon back. He didn't have the year that he thought he was going to have, and we've talked a lot about it. And I think he wants to come back and have a big year next year. So. But we still got to fill in some of this pitching. There's no doubt. So that's a big concern of ours, and that's what we're really tuning into in this draft.
Have any ball clubs called you? Oliver got arrested. Have you got a sense for how it's going to impact him in the draft? Have any ball clubs called you?
Oh, there's been a few call us, but how's it going to impact him? I still think he'll go right around where they had him slotted, and it's different for every team. What's it going to cost him? It might cost him a little bit of money. But time will tell. I mean, it was a mistake, bad mistake. And Chris is a good kid. He just, when he got off the bus here, and probably felt like that was it. He's not part of the Razorback baseball team. He's now going to be a professional in a couple of days, and he went out and did what he did, and bad choice. I'm just glad nobody got hurt. But I feel bad for everybody involved, and hopefully he learned a lesson, and he'll be able to grow from it and move on. But, answering your question, I don't know what it'll cost him. He'll still be drafted in the same area, I would think. And, everybody makes a mistake, and I'm sure that's the way Major League Baseball look at it. And they know that he doesn't have issues. They just know that he made a mistake.
As far as scheduling next year, do you drop the SWAC component?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, this year we played 5 SWAC games. If you only play a couple, it's probably not going to hurt you. And so we have 2 games. I think we're going to keep them, but I think you're going to see us play on the road a little bit more, because your RPI you can help yourself by winning on the road. And we actually had our opening weekend opponent that I had scheduled for over a year out of the East Coast called, and they can't come now. So we play the second weekend at South Alabama in a tournament. So So we may be going on the road the first weekend and the second weekend. But to answer your question, we only have 2 games with the SWAC. I think I'm going to keep them. And then they may, starting in 16, might not be playing them anymore, which is too bad. You know, when you really think about it, that you got that league down there that, you know, they need to play some people, and who are they going to play? People aren't going to want to play you if the RPI is going to affect us the way it did. I mean, if you take away those 5 games, and we won all 5 of them, our RPI would have been in the top 15. And our strength of schedule was like 30-something. It would have been in the top 5. Because we played a tough schedule, you take away those 5 games. So as of right now, they're on the schedule in a midweek Tuesday, Wednesday. And to me, you know, and I'm not saying they're gimmies, but they're games we should win. It gives us a chance to catch our breath and throw some younger guys and play some guys. And, you know, hopefully over the next couple of years there will be some changes made in the way they do that RPI.
Is it Mississippi Valley?
Yes. Yeah, we're not playing them in Little Rock. Next year we play a really nice series. We play in Little Rock against Memphis on a Tuesday, and then we're going to play in the AAA ballpark in Memphis on Wednesday, like we did a few years back.
Dave, did you address Serrano Boga when you named him as junior?
Yeah, I didn't. He won't be drafted, I don't think. I mean, you know, it's all about tools a lot of times not batting average or this or that, but if, you know, you got to really be able to run and steal base. You got to have power arm. You got to be able to hit for power. You got to have some things. And Joe's just a good college baseball player as of right now. Will somebody draft him? I don't know. I don't think he'll be drafted. I don't think they're not asking about him at this time, and they haven't. You know, the scouts. We let the scouts meet with our draft eligible kids during the season on Mondays, and they have meetings with them and interview them and ask a lot of questions. And you know, I don't think he's been asked to meet with people.
So Sunday night, the other night, you said you were really happy about your core. You kind of talked about the core. So you had him in there and Spoon, so
yeah.
It starts building up your core.
Yeah, I mean, those are a couple of guys with experience coming back. And then, you see Benintendi got 200 at-bats, and Egan got 125. And to me, Egan really impressed me down the stretch. And there was just a little bit of something, you know, we changed his batting stance. And he had a real wide-open stance, and you know, when I'm messing around with these guys a little bit, I'll say, yeah, you got your high school batting stance. When are we going to change that? And he changed his feet, and he squared up, and his hands, and then he just started hitting. And a lot more power in there. And Benintendi was wide open, and he closed it up a little bit, and just some little tweaks. But, you know, there's 4 pretty good hitters right there, and you know, just off the top. And you know, you get Baxendale back, got to get him. We want to change him a little bit. You got to make some changes in himself, and I think he can help us. And you know, like I said, we got a couple 3 kids coming in. There's a couple more guys I didn't mention. Redshirted a kid or 2, and we'll be better offensively.
Does Gosser start the year or start fall ball as your catcher?
Our catcher situation is going to be wide open. We've signed a junior college catcher. We've signed a big-time catcher out of Southern California that's ranked like number 181. He claims he's coming to school. There were some Fullerton in Arizona were highly upset when he picked Arkansas. I committed him 2.5 years ago and have been working on him ever since, and will be on the phone with him again tonight. I mean, so no, that position will be wide open, and so it's going to be a battle. We've got a couple other kids coming in. We've got a kid out of Fort Smith that's a catcher outfielder that's a great athlete. So it's going to be wide open at that position.
You say change Baxendale, you mean his body?
Oh yeah, I'm going to let you write whatever you think.
What's the catcher's name, the Dugo catcher?
I don't. Why don't you give it? Do you have our stuff? Do you have a list of everything?
I bet you get it.
I'll give it to you. I'll get it to you after. I'll give you. We've signed a first baseman too. Drove in 60 runs and had 22 doubles. Signed a switch hitting second baseman. Junior college kid led the nation in triples. Drove in 45 runs hitting in the 2-hole. I mean, we've gone out and tried to take care of some stuff. And I'm not big into getting a lot of junior college guys, but they just have to be the right guys. And we were on the road a lot this spring watching kids.
The pitchers you lost last year, are you surprised with your staff?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I didn't think we'd pitch this good. We just didn't have quite enough depth. I mean, Virginia's got depth. We had depth last year. There's teams with depth. We just, the guys that we went to, the 5 or 6 guys on the weekend, I mean, we were able to do that because our starters gave us a lot of innings, starting with Trey Killian usually on Friday. And to me, Trey and Beeks, those guys are like MVPs because we didn't have to go to that unexperienced bullpen too much. And then, you know, Jackson was pretty good early out of the pen, and then Gunn was good pretty much all year except for a couple 3 outings, and then Stone, you know, was real good late. But, you know, the bullpen, or the pitching staff overall, if you look at the numbers, it was pretty good. It was a lot better than I thought it would be.
Brian O'Connor made a comment about Zach Jackson. He'd be surprised if he's not a first-round pick in a couple of years. Just what do you see his role in the next couple of years?
I'd like him to be a starting pitcher next year, and I want him to go out this summer and try to do that, and we're going to groom him to that. And it's really just about, you know, just throwing him some more strikes. He's got great stuff. I mean, you see that long, lanky body. He's a great kid, good student, very dedicated. He cares. I mean, he's a guy that, and he's got talent, and that's a good combination. If he'll work, and he just needs to get stronger. I mean, he's a skinny kid, and he's put on a little weight, and but, you know, he's a guy that could pitch at 225, 230, and he probably weighs 200 pounds, and he'll get there. He's got a chance to be really good. Give him a year or two.
How valuable is it that you'll have Killian coming back to be the leader?
Well, that's the main thing. You know, whether he wins 10 games or 5 games next year, he's going to lead us, and he'll lead that pitching staff. He's got a lot of toughness to him, and you know, you got to have a guy like that, especially when, you know, the guys look up to him because he works hard, he backs it up. He'll police that locker room a little bit, and he'll police that dugout when guys aren't paying attention or goofing around. He'll say something to you, but they respect him because he works hard. And you know, when you do that, you can say what you need to say.
What's your shortstop?
Go ahead. No, haven't. 2 years of Poche just being real average, and we talked to him about it yesterday. And you know, now he might have something wrong with him, you know, but where he has to rest and not pitch this summer. I don't know. So it's been real frustrating, no doubt about it. And hopefully he'll do better. As far as our shortstop situation, McAfee was a kid that was, you know, projected to be a top 10 round pick at the end of this year. He got off to a good start with the bat, was playing good defense, and then the back went down, brought him back, hurt again. Everything that he's told me and talked to his parents, he's coming back. And, you know, but he's got to get healthy. So we'll see what happens in the draft. You know, I have to see it first. And, you know, we've also signed another shortstop. And, you know, could be a battle. And the other shortstop we signed was planning McAfee not being here. So that might be a situation that we'll have to handle it. You know, there might be a situation where you got to release somebody to go to another school because he doesn't want to come in and sit behind another guy or two.
How nerve-wracking is the draft? There are guys you know are gone, like Anderson, Oliver, but the guys that you're not sure about, they tell you they want to come, but they get offered a lot of money, you know, that's going to be a tough call. Just how nerve-wracking is the draft?
Well, Friday I'm going recruiting in Oklahoma, and I'll be outside for all day. So I'll just wait for people to call me and tell me who got drafted where. I'm not going to sit around and watch my computer or listen to it, and I'm just going to go work and try to find some players for the future. But it's very nerve-wracking. I mean, you know, you make or break. I mean, you think about, you know, look at Vanderbilt. Tyler Beatty doesn't sign. He turns down $2 million. So he may pitch him to Omaha this year. And, you know, one guy can make a huge difference. It's like in football, you get the quarterback or you don't. And basketball, you get the 6'9", 6'11" center. Can just change the whole dynamics of your offense or your pitching staff. So, I mean, it's just the way it is. But, you know, we'll do the best we can like everybody else. We just, every now and then you got to get lucky and have a kid turn down the money because and do what he tells you, which is, hey, I'm not signing for less than $1 million. Well, don't sign for $750,000. Wait for $1 million, like Ryan Stanek did. We went to the World Series when Stanek turned down his money. Turned down $800,000 and he got 1.8. 3 years later, he got $1 million more, and he got 3 years of education, and he's a year away from a degree. So, I mean, I feel like I'm sitting in your living room trying to get you to sign with me now, but it's just the way it is. I mean, it's tough, and it's like I said, I committed a kid 2.5 years ago, and I couldn't even call him then. He had to call me, and then and then get to the point where I can start emailing him, but I can't call him. And then you get to the point July 1st after the junior year, you start calling him. Well, I've been calling him ever since. I'm going to call him tonight. And, in 2 weeks he might be signed with a professional team. I don't know, So there's a lot of good times, there's a lot of heartbreak when in recruiting.
Guys like Warnes and Bernal, where do they kind of figure?
Those two guys, they saved us. I mean, defensively, with McAfee going down, we thought we were going to get one of them last summer. We needed to go get a junior college kid to come help us as a utility man. Next thing you know, we ended up getting both of them. We got Bernal in August last year when everything got right with him and transferring, so that we figured that they would both just battle it out for third base. And then one of them then be a utility man. Well, they ended up playing every day because of the injury. They'll both battle to play. They both may be utility guys because there's some guys coming in.
How surprised are you by what has happened to the conference in the tournament with 10 teams in and only 2 left at this point? Does that surprise you after
A little bit. I mean, obviously, I thought Florida would win their regional. I thought Alabama might win the Tallahassee regional because they were awfully good, and they kind of went into a slump. And we all thought, if they can rest, they lost that one game in the tournament, so they went home early. If they can, kind of like we did a couple years ago, back, rest, practice, get your mind right, and they might go tear it up down there because it's a hitter's ballpark. We've been there, and then they lose game 1, and they battle all the way through through that loser's bracket. Did you see that last pitch they got? That was sad. That's a sad way to finish. I'd rather have it be. We all love umpires, but anyway, yeah. I mean, it's disappointing. I thought we'd have at least 5 probably win their but it's you just see a lot of parity.
Can you talk about umpires? Did you watch ball 4, the critical ball 4 you played in your game?
It was a pretty good pitch. I didn't watch it again. I asked Jake. I said, "Where do you think that pitch was that walked him?" And he said, "Maybe a ball off the plate." Which, that's right there. You can call that a strike. And sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. And a lot of times, it just depends on how the inning was going. Probably because he was a little wild, he didn't get the call. And we always tell our pitchers, you got to earn that spot. By throwing it there a lot, they'll start giving it to you. But you're scattering the ball all over. And then you need a big pitch. A lot of times you won't get it.
Yeah, Jake had a great year defensively, really struggled offensively. Our team's talking to you about him, or what do you see for him?
I don't know if someone will draft him or not. Last year at this time, if he hadn't hurt his arm, I think he would have been a late draft. Somebody would have taken him in the 20th round and said, go out and see if you can hit with a wood bat, and because you can catch and throw. And, they're always looking for catchers. You got a lot of pitchers that need people to catch them in the minor league. So. But it wouldn't surprise me if somebody took him, and I hope he gets a chance to go play. And he's done a tremendous job catching here defensively, and it's just too bad it didn't work out offensively. And there's a lot of reasons it didn't, but bottom line, he can really catch and throw, and I hope he gets a shot.
You mentioned that Tyler didn't have the year that he wanted. What do you think? What was with him at the plate this year that caused the drop off?
There were a few different things, but probably more than anything, I think Tyler got in his own head a little bit, a little pressure, wanted to play pro ball, have a big year, and I think you'd probably have to talk to him more about it. I had a good conversation with him in a meeting yesterday about it, and but I don't. There's some things that Okay, he had surgery. He had surgery right before the season started. He had a hernia, a sports hernia. That slowed him down a little bit. Then he's got a wrist injury. That he's not going to go play summer ball. He's going to get healthy, and he's going to get strong. He's also, we're at Mississippi State, and he popped his shoulder out, the left shoulder out, and didn't miss that game on Sunday. It still bothered him a little bit. So I think there were some health issues in there too. And I think he probably wouldn't say anything. He's a pretty tough kid. That wrist was bothering him, and he needs to get that healed up.
It seems like a lot of people think Keaton McKinney's probably going to go pro. Or there are some others that you're watching real closely.
Yeah, I think that Keaton McKinney, he's ranked like in the 70s. There are a bunch of good pitchers this year. Keaton McKinney is a very, very good student. If we could keep him, that would be huge. He's 92, 93 mile an hour kid out of high school with a big time changeup. What keeps him from going higher is just an okay breaking ball. So he wants a lot of money. He could get it. Depends on who drafts him. But if he doesn't go in the top 2 rounds, there's a chance we could get him. And, we'll probably know early on Friday. We have a left-handed pitcher out of Minnesota named Hentges that he's about 6'6". From Minnesota, is #1 player in Minnesota ranking, and he's a guy that we desperately want. If he goes in the first 3 rounds, he'll sign. If he doesn't, I think we got a good shot at keeping him. So we're keeping an eye on that one too. If we keep one of those 2 guys, it'd be big.
How high are teams on Brian Anderson?
Pretty good. A lot of potential there, filling out. They got to dream on him a little bit, and he has all the tools that you're looking for. Brian he's just hard on himself. He's maybe in pro ball he'd relax a little bit and just play every day. I could see him going in the 3rd round, 2nd, 3rd round. I don't know. But you just never know. But they might take him in the 2nd. Just wait. Just if somebody likes him and they're worried about somebody taking him before they get their next pick.
So where do you hear all of them?
2nd, 1st, late 1st, sandwich 2nd, early 2nd. It would be my guess. 2nd, early 2nd round if I was guessing.
Bill Beeks against Bucknell proved he was healthy.
Yeah, I think that really helped him. The fact that they're going to know that he touched 90 miles an hour and struck out 9 in 5 innings, and more than anything that he doesn't have a serious injury. He just got hurt and he just needed to heal up a little bit. I think that should get him back in the rounds where he needs to be.
Fisher probably raised this stock a lot. He was like, what, a 30th round pick or something?
Yeah, right around there. There's a couple of teams that really like him, and Fisher got his degree, finished up this spring. He's he could come back and play another year because he got redshirted a year, but he'll definitely, if he gets drafted, which he will, he'll sign.
Dave, Blake Wiggins, can you keep him? What will he play?
Blake Wiggins, I think we're going to keep Blake Wiggins. He has a lot of power, very offensive kid. He started out as a young player when we first committed him 3 years ago. He's a shortstop. Well, his body changed. He got bigger. He's really gotten himself in very good shape now. He's worked out at catcher. I see him more as a third baseman. I think that's probably he's got a shot at playing right away at third or first, but probably third. And we'll still work with him at catcher if he wants to try to do that for down the road professional stuff. He may end up being a great catcher. I haven't seen him catch but one time. So, but he's a guy that I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go unless there's one team or something I don't know about that's planning on taking him in a certain spot. But he's one we're definitely keeping an eye on.
A few more questions about the draft, guys.
Is there a round Luke Bonfield that he goes down fast and maybe keep in?
Luke is rated one of the top hitters coming out of high school in the country, out of New Jersey. Corner outfielder guy, left fielder, dime a dozen defensively. If he was a left-handed guy, he'd be gone. He's still going to he'll go in the top 10 rounds. And, our conversation with him is if you want to sign, you'll get to sign. And it's going to be up to you. You'll get the money that you want. And I don't know what he wants exactly because sometimes there's a gray area there. Do you want to come to school or not? So do I think we're going to get him? 50-50 maybe.
Just all the catchers you got. Baxdale going to work at first base or something like that?
Yeah, he'll work at a few different places. We'll see how it goes.
How much the Team USA experience talk about that and how much you're looking forward to it? Just a few of the particulars of how the summer will go.
Yeah, it hasn't been. People say, is it taking you away from this job? Not at all. We have conference call once. February got here, we'd have conference calls about once every 2 or 3 weeks, and there'd be 6, 7, 8 people on there. The other coaches, Eric Campbell, who runs the collegiate national team and organizes everything, our travel, he runs those meetings. And then, over the last 2 months, it may be once a week, and it's usually on a Tuesday at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. We'll talk for an hour, selecting kids, also selecting kids to come try out. The ones we select, and they agree, they're on the team, and then we're leaving spots open. We're going to have trials. I'll be here till about the 19th of this month, and then head out to Cary, North Carolina, where we'll be based. doing some trials, and there'll be the guys that are on the team. There'll be some guys trying to make the team, and we'll scrimmage we'll play games against some all-star teams from some colleges, college leagues. I think around July 1st we play. We start playing international teams. Example, I don't know if it's Japan or Taiwan. We play both of them, but I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention to it. I got to get through this week first, and then I'll start really looking into the schedule. But we play like 5 games against Japan, 3 games against another international team. We play some more all-star games. We travel around the East, playing some really nice venues, AAA parks, AA parks. Then we're going to head to the Netherlands, be there for 11 days, playing a big tournament over there against teams from all over the world. Then we leave there and we go to Cuba. Going to play the big boys. They're a bunch of men, and play them 5 games on in their home field. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's when the Netherlands is going to be neat. Cuba is going to be an experience, and families can't go to Cuba. It's just the team. So my family will probably go meet me in the Netherlands and watch some games, and probably head over to Paris, look around a day or two, because I think it's only a couple hours away or a train ride away. So it'd be good to see them. But it's going to be I think it'll be a great experience. Get to coach some great kids. I would say probably of the 24 kids that we have, more than half of them, or maybe even more than maybe 20 of them, will probably play in the big leagues one day. So it should be fun.
Is there any Arkansas kids that could be on?
There might be one being announced today that's going to get to come to the trials and try to earn a spot. So I need to make sure that phone call has been made, and I don't want to speak too quick. It's supposed to maybe happen today. So I'll let you know, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. Well, I hope we get to see him. I was just talking to someone about it. When we left there, he had 99 innings. So he's going to pitch again this weekend, so give him 8 more. And then if they make it to the World Series, he's going to get 7 or 8 more, maybe twice. And all of a sudden he's at 120, and then you get this call, we're going to shut him down. And that's what happens. That's why we bring extra kids, and we have trials, and maybe a kid doesn't make it, and then we say, hey, so-and-so's not coming, come on back. Because there's some that are promised, and it's almost like they have a contract. And that's going to be about 16 kids, and we're going to leave 8 spots open, or maybe 6. So, there'll be some spots, because I know in 2011 we thought we were getting the catcher from Florida, and they went all the way to, they lost the championship, or I don't remember what went on there. Yeah, South Carolina beat him, and he was shot, and he called and said, I'm not coming. And we kind of thought that would happen. He's now in the big league, so you just never know how that's going to work out.
When you're weighing the last 2 years, the numbers offensively everywhere all across the country are real good, but pitching is still important with the new ball. Have changed how you divide your money up a little bit?
Well, a lot of times the luck of the draw. Let's say you sign 5 pitchers and 5 position players, and if you get 3 of each, you're feeling pretty good about it. But it just happened we'd get 4 and 3, or 5 and 2, and all of a sudden we got a little lopsided. And once you sign them, you're guessing a little bit who's going to make it, and then guys that you didn't think you were going to get, you get. We didn't think we were going to get Stanek. Didn't know if Barrett Aston was going to make it either, and he priced himself out of it. They didn't even draft him. We thought I think he wanted $500,000. They wanted to give him a couple hundred, and he went to school for 3 years and he made more than that. But that's what happens a lot of times. But we got to get better offensively. We got a core group of hitters that's kind of leaving, and we got some young guys in here, bringing some more guys in. Sometimes you just have to change the mindset, and guys are set in their ways, or they don't want to change, and when you don't have a lot of depth, you don't have a lot of options. We're trying to make sure we got some options and some open minds, and we can get some guys going. And
just add a few more hitters this year.
Yeah, you'll see. We'll be better.
Have you had any players inform you they want to transfer out?
Well, a lot of times I haven't had anybody tell me that right now, but I just met with them yesterday. Because me, I'm just going to tell it like it is. I don't want to do anybody wrong and say one thing, and why didn't you just be up front with me? And I'm not going to get to play. You didn't tell me about that guy coming in or that guy coming in. So, there's some guys now that probably know who we have, and So that phone call might be coming. But if a guy doesn't want to compete, then worried about playing time, he probably needs to go somewhere else.
What's the structure look like within your staff while you're gone this summer? I mean, you have an acting head coach here.
Well, our guys, for the most part in July, they're not here. They're on the road. I mean, you should see our schedule. It's pretty much starts tomorrow, out and about. And the NCAA's changed the rule now where you can have 3 on the road instead of 2. So all 3 of us are going to be gone. And then when I leave, we can have our volunteer coach can take my spot while I'm gone, just as long as he passed the NCAA test, which he already has. So we'll be out and about. We'll be everywhere. But I'll still be, with today's technology, I'm still right in the middle of it. It's never that far away. But I guess I would say no. There's not going to be somebody designated. If there's a problem, when I'm out of country, I mean we arrange something for that. But I think we'll be well under control by then.
A few more questions, guys.
You have a crew going to Cape Cod and Northwood.
Yeah, we've got kids going all over the place. We got some are not going now, like Spoon, injured hand, or a few guys like that are trying to heal up or going to go later. But yeah, they're all going somewhere. And even some of the kids that didn't make the 27-man roster to travel once school's out, they started playing a few days ago in the Texas League and Shenandoah Valley League and all kinds of stuff. So they're out.
Just kind of briefly overall again, can you address what you're expecting out of your players for the draft?
Say the beginning of that again.
Just briefly, a summary. Can you touch on what you expect out of your players for the draft?
As far as who's going to go where, or just really with the pitching, I think Gunn is a guy, Beek's a guy that I think they're going to be drafted high enough to sign. Obviously, Oliver will sign, and Stone is one that we hope we can keep. Those are the pitchers, and as far as the guys coming in, there's 4 or 5 kids that we're keeping an eye on. Position player wise, we'll lose Fisher. Anderson. Who else am I missing? Anybody there? That's probably about it. I think if McAfee would have been healthy all year, he would have been a guy that would have been gone. He's been drafted 2 other times, out of high school, out of junior college, and then he came here and been hurt a lot. So, I don't think there's really anything from the team that we have here right now that is unexpected. We're not going to get floored by anything. So really our big concern is keeping some of those young guys.
There's been some discussions at the table for a couple of years about the MLB and NCAA kind of coming into partnership and maybe helping out with scholarships and moving the draft. Just what do you know about that, and where do you think that is right now?
Yeah, I don't know if it's tough because they've talked about that, that they would different ways. They'd give every school 1 scholarship, or they'd give everybody 1 minority scholarship, which would be great. I haven't heard anything about it lately. If they did come into partner with the NCAA baseball, obviously we'd probably all be using wood bats. Good wood is very expensive, and you're going to break a lot of bats. There would be a major expense there. So, I wish we were using their baseball, to be honest with you. I mean, the big league ball, everyone, they're trying to say it's too hard or it's too expensive. We can afford it. We can afford the ball. And it's, I think it may be just too lively. I mean, those guys in the big leagues, they're big time strong, but they hit the bottom of that ball and they go out of the park. You hit the bottom of our ball, it stops 45 feet from the fence. But I don't know. I mean, really, other than that, it's just talked about. It's been talked about for 5 years probably, and nothing's really gone on with it. We would all love to get some more scholarship money. I think if they went into partner with us, they would probably try to send kids to college that they weren't sure about, and that's what they've talked about. But right now, I mean, there is like an arms race, and you watch and see how many high school pitchers get drafted tomorrow and the next day, because there's a lot of them out there, and they want to get them before we do, and it takes away from our game.
One last question.
If when the Big 5 schools pull away, like that's all geared by football, but that's going to impact other sports. If and when that happens, do you see the the Big Five conferences saying, hey, we'll bump up baseball scholarships, track scholarships, whatever the case.
I think if that ever happens, and who knows, and it may happen in the next 5 or 10 years. But if it does, I feel like that there will be adjustments. There will probably, obviously, be a different championship, or there will be a lot of changes. But I think that it will be something where maybe they move this season back a month, try to generate more revenue. If you moved us back a month, it would be huge financially for us with our ballpark. And it would be for a lot of schools. I think there would have to be some changes, definitely, and scholarship would be one of them, and start time would be one of them. And then everybody at those universities have to make a major commitment to their baseball program. It's beautiful, yeah. It's pretty much finished. If you ever get a chance, you need to get in there. It's beautiful, and I'm so excited about it. Just putting together practice plans and being able to use that. We've been using it in recruiting. It's no doubt it's already helped us get a player or two or swam our way, walking them through there. We don't have access to it every day right now. I think they haven't turned it over to us, but it's any day now. I think there's obviously paperwork and inspections and probably insurance that has to be handled, and then we'll be good to go.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, appreciate you guys. Thanks.